Welcome to today's new family orientation session. Before we begin, we have a few important housekeeping notes to cover.
La traducción al español para esta sesión es proporcionada por Wordly, una herramienta de traducción en tiempo real. Para acceder a este contenido en español, haga clic en el icono del globo en la barra de herramientas del lado derecho de la pantalla y seleccione Español en la lista de opciones de traducción.
Today's session is being recorded. Recordings will be available approximately 3 hours after the session ends. You can find session recordings in your session schedule or in the on-demand page of the Hub. To ask questions during this session, click on the Q&A button in the panel to the right of your screen. We'll answer as many questions as we can, either during the session or at the end. You can submit questions anonymously. Please don't share any personal information in questions, as questions will be visible to all guests. If you see a question in the Q&A panel that you want to see answered, upvote it to let our team know. Lastly, we ask that you please join us in upholding and promoting UC San Diego's principles of community, and in keeping our community free from any and all forms of discrimination and harassment. Now let's get started with today's new family orientation session.
Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome to all our new Tritons and your supporters. You did it. I am Malia Mahi. I am the Associate Director for Housing Administrative Services, and we're happy to welcome you to our Housing and Dining presentation as your Triton prepares to join us here for fall of 2025. I am a mom of a third-year college student, and I know this first year carries many feelings and emotions for all of us, all parents and supporters, and even if your student is joining us today. And we hope that the information that we share with you today can help to alleviate some of the questions or concerns you may have about your student's housing and dining package. As I stated, I am the Associate Director here at Housing Administrative Services. I've worked for housing for over 17 years here in my career at UCSD. And with a third-year student attending San Diego State University, I can tell you it does get easier. So hang in there, let you yourself feel all those feelings and enjoy this journey with your student. I am going to be joined today by our Triton Card Account staff member, Michael Lee, and our amazing dining engagement team member, Pam Kramer. And so they will also be sharing information on your dining package as well as your Triton Card account. Feel free to ask your questions here in our Q&A during the presentation. And then we will have a live Q&A at the end to answer any of the hot topics that come up a lot on our Q&A form. So we want to remind all of our parents and supporters here today that we do offer a 2-year housing guarantee to all of our new incoming students. That includes our first year and transfer students. We definitely want you to take advantage of this opportunity for your student to live and immerse themselves into the university and live on campus. Again, with the convenience of living on campus, there's no need to commute, fill up that gas tank, or worry about parking or how you're going to get to campus and your classes. You are able to participate in all campus activities because you're already here on campus. And we also want to make sure that you're aware of the criteria of this housing guarantee. So to keep that housing guarantee, your student must live on campus their admit year, which will be this 2025-26 student incoming class. They do need to live on campus the consecutive years that they're here, meaning it's not a save for later 2-year guarantee, it is a consecutive 2-year guarantee. Our students have to meet all of our housing and the campus deadlines. They also need to make sure that they fulfill the full term of their contract. So if you cancel or terminate your contract, essentially your student will be forfeiting that guarantee or their future guarantee. And lastly, they do need to make sure that they maintain their housing eligibility, which we define as full-time, enrolled in 12 units or more for each quarter. Of course, we have students who will miss deadlines. It's natural, right? We have young students who this is the first time for them going to college. They may be a first generational student as well. And so what happens if they miss a deadline, they cancel or terminate, and they're interested in coming to campus housing later? You can always urge your student to apply to the wait list. And so our wait list is currently open now for fall. So if your student unfortunately did miss one of our deadlines, encourage them to apply as soon as possible. That wait list closes on October 27th of 2025. I would also urge, if anything happens, a missed deadline or any other concerns, that your student reaches out to their contacts for help and guidance. Hopefully we can be one of those for you. And we also want to urge students who go through the wait list may not be housed in their college of registration. The offers are based on spaces available as well as the gender of the space. So we like to say here that your housing package is more than just a room. And so we want to take a moment to make sure, if you are coming here and participating in on-campus housing, what your housing and dining package is going to provide you throughout the academic year. So your move-in and living experience are going to be managed by our residential life teams or your housing community teams. They are the teams that manage this on-campus living experience, and they work really hard to create a sense of community and are there on site to support you through your UC San Diego journey. We want to recommend to all of our students to take advantage of, again, living on campus, to get involved, try out your campus or your college housing events, and creating that support system on campus for yourself at your home away from home. With your housing package, you're going to get a flexible dining plan that includes Triton Cash, and Pam and Michael will be explaining those a little bit more to you. But the advantages is that having the dining dollars and the Triton Cash gives you a lot of flexibility in your spending. We have a 24/7 maintenance custodial team here on site ready to assist your student if anything goes awry or they need something to be repaired. Another advantage is a weekly housekeeping services. Those are available in all of our residence halls and apartments with the exception of Pepper Canyon West. So your student has a clean and healthy living environment. They do clean just the common areas. They don't do the bedrooms. So that would be up to your student to maintain those spaces. We also offer our on-site community laundry facilities. So if any of us have ever had to live in an apartment where you have to drive somewhere else with your laundry, good news, you don't have to do that here. Everything's available to you at your housing community. And for each of your communities, they're all unique. They each feature their own amenities. And if you have any questions about what those might look like, we urge you to reach out to your residential life office or review your college housing community website for more details. This is a very popular subject, so roommates and space assignments. So our room and roommate assignments are done by a computer system called IntelliSign, where it uses your room preferences. If you've created a roommate group, it will use your roommate group information, as well as your personal history form, and Spaces will go through a few iterations of the program, assigning students to Spaces. Depending on what's left available, then Spaces can be assigned manually. We do expect to be 100% full for fall. So please note that due to availability, students may be housed in communities outside of their college of registration. Our assignments team does their best to keep students from other colleges together if it is necessary to assign you to a different housing community. And you might want to write this date down. So for your student, my room assignment in the housing portal is going to open up August 19th through the 27th. Each community is going to be assigned its own day to log into the portal to view their assignments, as well as select their move-in date and time. Your student will receive an email prior to August 17th with their login schedule. And we want to recommend that your student does not log in early. It won't allow them into the system and it may bog the system down. So make sure your student keeps an eye out on their ucsd.edu email for that access date and time, and that they don't log in until on or after that date. Move-in times are going to be specific to each college or community. So for example, a student living at Revelle can only select dates available to the Revelle students. A student living at Muir is only going to be selecting dates available to students at Muir College. Most of our housing areas will roughly offer move-in times starting around 8:30 to 9 a.m. through 4:30 to 5 p.m. Some common questions that we get as we get closer to roommates assignments and space assignments is, what if I don't like my space? So we do offer a room change interest list, which usually opens in October, where students can sign up for a room change. The only thing you want to notate and discuss with your student is the change is not guaranteed. It does depend on how many vacancies we'll have, as well as available space types. What if your student needs a specific type of assignment for a medical condition? We want to make sure that you're aware that if there is a special housing accommodation or even a dining accommodation required, that your student has already engaged with the Office for Students with Disabilities. If you have any questions about the process or have not heard back from OSD, then we want you to encourage your student to reach out and follow up with them directly. Or we also employ a housing liaison that can assist your student with any questions they might have for either their housing or dining accommodations. And we'll have that contact information at the end of this presentation. For our students who might identify as transgender, genderqueer, agender, or gender nonconforming, our housing liaison can also work with you on questions about your housing placement. So please make sure to reach out to them as soon as possible prior to the release of room assignments, again, which will be occurring August 19th through the 27th. A common question and concern, I think, just because this may be the first time for someone having to share a room with someone, maybe sharing a room with someone that you don't know. What happens if I'm not getting along with my roommates? So first, I would encourage you, once you get to see who your roommates are in my room assignment, is reach out, introduce yourself, tell them a little bit about yourself as a student. But just like those dating shows on TV, sometimes it's not a match. So we encourage our students to have a direct conversation with that roommate first if there's any kind of tension or anything happening within the apartment or res hall. If that's not working, then we encourage you to engage with your resident assistant or housing assistant. And then lastly, if that still isn't working for you, to go to the office and talk to your professional residential life team member about what's going on and how you can work with your roommate to resolve any issues you may be having. Room types is another question that we get a lot of, especially as room assignments are about to come out. So we do want to make sure that everyone aware on this webinar is that the bulk of our housing inventory is made up of triples, doubles, mini doubles, and lastly, singles. Our most common room type is a triple. It does vary across the different communities. We want to make sure that most of our first year students are assuming that they will be assigned to a triple. If you're curious to know what's available to you within your college housing community, you can check out our undergrad neighborhood page. There you can find virtual tours of triples, with the exception of 8th College. However, they do feature pictures of what a triple setup will look like within their community. You can contact your residential life office if you have specific information about room sizes or what's available or offered in the room. As well as any specific community facility or amenities questions. I just want to note that we do not carry or have specific measurements available for each room, neither does the residential life offices. So you may want to plan when you're moving in to come light and then look at what's available, excuse me, make those measurements, and then maybe buy some of the storage or other items that you're looking for after move-in has started. We also want to ensure when you see your room assignment that you understand how the spaces are marked. So here on the screen, you're going to see that there's a triple room here. So if you're assigned to the A space, your bed is the lower bunk. If you're assigned to the B space, your bed is the upper bunk. And if you're assigned to the C space, your bed is the loft. So when moving in, make sure that you're aware of which bed assignment belongs to you. And then if you're in need, again, of a medical accommodation or for a specific type of housing space or for a dining accommodation, we just, again, want to urge you to make sure that your student is engaging with the Office for Students with Disabilities or reaching out to our housing liaison for assistance. All right, it's right around the corner. I know it's July, but September will be here before we know it. I'm sure many of you are working on move-in plans, and so we want to urge that your students are looking at their ucsd.edu email frequently to check for updates and information about move-in, but we also want to share some of our general move-in information. So our move-in date and times are going to vary by housing area and college. Again, those don't affect other areas, so Revelle move-in dates and times are completely separate from yours. Our general move-in is going to take place starting on September 17th with dates and times running through September 21st. We have additional move-in times available week 0 that is taking place September 22nd through the 26th. Students moving in after September 26th are considered a late move-in, and they do need to engage with their community's residential life office to make sure they're making arrangements for coming after that date. It is important to note that classes start on the 25th. So please make sure you're aware of that when you're scheduling your move-in times. We want to make sure that our parents and supporters know here that it may need to be flexible and open to several move-in dates and time options. As we're going so large now, we can't have everyone move in on the same day. And so again, those move-in times will vary between 8:30, 9 a.m. to about 4:30, 5 p.m. each day. If you are coming after hours, so outside of 4:35 p.m., and you are not able to move in during the operational hours, you should make short-term housing plans and plan to move in that following day. If our students do not select a move-in time by September 4th, one will be chosen for them. So again, just connect with your student, make sure that they are picking a date and time, first of all, that you're aware of and that you can assist them if needed to move in, as well as that time is selected before September 4th so that you have the flexibility to pick the date that you want. Some more move-in information. So again, the general move-in dates are on here, our week 0 dates, and a reminder that there is no after hours move-in. So you may want to take a picture of this slide. And lastly, it's just some helpful tips and information. So a couple websites here that may be helpful for our parents and supporters to review. Important dates. This is a great one to just keep looking at frequently, I would say. You might think it's too early to talk about, but our quarter system here goes very fast. So students with a guarantee are able to return for their second year through a process that we call room selection. And that starts as early as February. So again, this is a great website to bookmark and stay aware of for any future deadlines coming up for your student. What to bring, there's just some ideas of what you can bring when you do move in. We also want to urge you to coordinate with your roommates. So once you have your roommate information, when my room assignment comes out, please make sure you're coordinating what to bring. For example, you don't want 5 mini fridges, in the living room or something like that, or 3 or 4 microwaves that are going to take up space that you don't have. And then make sure to leave things that you shouldn't bring at home. So that includes things like open flame candles, grills, or pets. Our parents and supporters also have an option to join our mailing list. Just as a note, please know that you're not going to get every email that your students receive. We do partner with our parent and family programs team who is offering this webinar here today to ensure that you're up to date on deadlines and information. However, it is your students' responsibility to stay informed and meet all the housing deadlines. So again, it's checking that ucsd.edu email. That's where most of the communication is going to come out to. And then students who may be far from home, or maybe they're not able to return home for the holidays, we want to make sure that our parents and supporters are aware that we stay open during all the breaks. Students are totally allowed to stay here, stay within their facility while the breaks are occurring. I also just want to note that during the breaks, our dining facilities do have modified hours and location shutdowns. So work with your student to plan in advance if they plan to stay over the break. And I also want to recommend for them to maybe hold on to some of that Triton cash that's part of their dining plan so that they can use that for other restaurants and locations during the break as well. And speaking of dining, I'm going to introduce Pam Kramer from our dining engagement team to share with you all the wonderful options you have with our dining.
Hi, everybody. My name is Pamela Kramer, and I've been here on campus now for 20 years. It is my pleasure to be here to talk to you about some of our dining options and how our dining plan works. Our dining plan here at UC San Diego is called Dining Dollars. As they were mentioning before, it is a combination of dining dollars, which can be used at any of our restaurants or markets that are the HDH owned. And then we also have Triton Cash, which is where you can use at any of the other restaurants on campus and some of the restaurants off campus. And Mike will go into that a little bit more. The dining dollars are linked directly to your student's ID, so it's just a one card system. It's very, very convenient. And it works like a debit card. So if you walk into one of our restaurants or markets, and let's say you're ordering a coffee and you just grab an apple, you're just being charged for a coffee or an apple. Then it is automatically deducted. You do not have swipes or an all-you-care-to-eat system with our program. There's no fee to walk into the restaurant, and there's no limited amount of swipes. You're able to come and go as you please and spend your money and just purchase what you'd like to purchase. This offers a more flexible dining plan, and it helps us to keep our costs lower. We also have a Triton community plan for graduate students. That's a great option. And your dining plan, you can see the 3 different plans right now for incoming students, the Triton Blue, and the Triton Gold. It really depends on you and your needs as to which plan you would select. If you are going to be on campus and having all of your meals here with us and you're an athlete or something like that, you might want to go for the larger plan. If you're somebody who might be going home on the weekends or really like to get out and explore food around campus, then you might want to pick a smaller plan. It really depends on which plan works best for you. The good thing is when you first come to campus, you're going to have a little bit of time to get used to and see what's going on before the October 1st deadline, where you'd have to make any final changes to your meal plan. And after that, you can't make changes. So make sure you keep an eye on that deadline. And if you need to make a change, get that done before then. You can also add dining dollars or Triton Cash to your plan at any time. If at the end of the year, spring quarter, you have any dining dollars remaining, it will automatically roll over to fall quarter of the next academic year. You can also use it over summer session if you're here on campus. And as long as you're on a meal plan, the dining dollars will not expire and will continue to roll over. If you choose to not be on a dining plan your next year, let's say you've moved off campus and you will not be selecting another dining plan, then your dining dollars would expire at the end of fall quarter. So you still have a lot of time to spend all of your funds. Next slide, please. Let me talk a little bit about our restaurants. We have a little bit of everything here on campus. We have 12 dining locations currently, and we're always building. We have a GLOT certified kosher restaurant that's absolutely delicious. We have a halal certified restaurant over at Warren College, which is the largest halal restaurant at a university in the country. We have vegetarian and vegan options at all of our locations, but we also have a vegan restaurant dedicated just completely vegan options that's just delicious, called Roots. We have food trucks. We have a little bit of everything. When you're thinking about what to eat on campus, please remember that each location offers different food. So we really encourage you to get out there and explore everything that dining has to offer. You don't want to eat at the same location every day. Get out there and try something new. See all the different options. We have a little bit of everything from poke to barbecue. We have global cuisines. Like I said, we have a little of everything. We work with the students directly to see what it is that they'd like to see us have on campus. We invite them to tastings. They work on the new menus with us. Right now in summer, we're in menu development season, so we're doing tastings daily. And so based on student feedback, we start to see what kind of items the students would like to see, and then we create those and serve those for the year. So our menus are always changing. We like to keep things seasonal, and we want to avoid any kind of palate fatigue. So there's lots of options. Our markets are some of our busiest and most popular locations on campus. We have 7 market locations in total. Almost all of our markets have a coffee house attached. So we have baristas. You can get your espresso in the morning. 5 of our locations are just walk out, so they're automated. So there are no lines. You can just go in, you swipe your card, get what you need, and you just walk out the door and you're charged automatically. Fun fact is that our market at 6th is the busiest just walk out market in the nation. So that's pretty crazy. And there are literally no lines. We have a market at Audrey's Cafe. If you're studying at Geisel Library and you need to get a coffee, we're right there for you. We also have Sunshine Market at Price Center, and we have a market at Goodies that'll be opening in fall. Our markets are open late night. They offer groceries, grab and grow items, produce, toiletries, anything that you could be looking for, you'll have it right there at your market. And we also have specials and promotions. Next slide. So our dining plan is more than just meals and drinks. We offer a complete package. We have registered dietitians that are available for you. We have convenient locations and a wide range of hours so that we're here to fit whatever needs you need. We offer special events, cooking demos, promotions, nutrition workshops throughout the year. We have our own mobile ordering system, so you would go ahead and place your order on the app, and then we would send you a text message when your order is ready, so you can go out, run on in and pick up your food. All of our chefs that are running the locations are ACF certified. They go through lots of trainings, and they work with the students, and it's really just a really great dining experience. Next slide, please. If you are a student that has an allergy or any other kind of medically necessitated diet or religious, you can reach out to us and we can help work on those with you. We have 2 registered dietitians on staff that the students can meet with for free. It's confidential. They can do meal planning with you, nutrition workshops, anything like that. And they also run our allergen program. So as Malia had mentioned, if you are a student that has an allergen, you would want to register with the Office of Students with Disabilities. Once you have registered, then you would automatically be put on a list and you would be in contact with one of our registered dietitians who would meet with you individually and go over what your specific needs are. Once you're in the program and have met with the RDs, they create a special menu for you. And there we have an allergen menu that students order off of separately, and the meals are created in an allergen safe zone. So you would go ahead and call the restaurant, order your food for the day, tell us when you're coming in, and then one of our senior chefs or executive chef would bring the food out to you and go over what's there because we want to make sure you're eating safely. If you are a student who has an allergy and you're able to self-regulate, we do have allergen icons on all of our menus, so you're able to check and see what's there. We also have our ingredients and nutrition lists on our website, as well as our mobile ordering app, so you can double check. But we do ask, even if you are self-monitoring and are able to do it on your own, to still register with OSD. So we're there if you need you. If you need us, we have your information and stuff like that. So it's a really comprehensive program that we're very proud of, and our registered dietitians do a great job working individually with the students. Next slide. We are proud to be the largest employer of students on campus, as well as in the whole UC system. We can average employing 1,100 to 1,200 students in an academic year. We offer flexible schedules. Students will turn in their class schedule, and we will create a schedule around their classes and activities. We offer competitive wages. There's a lot of opportunities for promotion within the department. And one of the very best perks of it is that there's a free meal with every shift. It's a great way to make friends and to learn some valuable skills and just have a little fun and learn how to cook. So I hope that you will join us and work with us. And it was really great to be able to share some information with you. If you have any further questions, you'll get my email information at the very end, and you can contact me directly. So I'm going to turn it over to Michael, and he's going to explain a little bit more about Triton Cash.
Hello, my name is Michael, and I'm actually part of the Triton Card account team. We're just going to take a moment to talk about your Triton Cash. So your Triton Cash is already going to be included in your dining plan, and it will automatically be activated when you arrive on campus, and it's linked directly to your student ID. It's accepted at over 60 locations, both on and off campus, from restaurants and markets to convenience stores and campus services. You can use your Triton Cash to pay for printing, vending machines, bookstore purchases, even off-campus food delivery in some areas. And when it's time to do laundry, Triton Cash is the only accepted payment method at all on-campus and other facilities. So it's important to have funds available. Triton Card accounts can also go beyond just spending. Through the online portal or the mobile app, you can also just track your balances and view your transaction history and stay on top of your spending. Make sure that your funds last throughout the academic year. Please note that the plan is given to you in full for the full academic year. An easy way to budget it out is to take the full amount and split it by 3 for the 3 quarters. If for some reason you do need to add more Triton Cash, that's not a problem. You can, you yourself or family members can easily add funds on the online portal at any time. In short, your Triton Card isn't just your ID, it's a key to your to-do-list. It simplifies spending and supports smart budgeting.
Thanks, Mikey. So I just want to make our parents and supporters here aware this is a motto that's on some of our buses and throughout campus. So it just says every great adventure starts somewhere. And so if you joined us during Triton Days, if you attended our housing presentations, you may or may not remember that I presented and I talked about the basics of campus life, you know, having a room, a meal plan, the convenience of living close to everything. But I mentioned in those presentations, and I want to mention now, that's just as important, the experience that don't show up on these checklists that you're probably going through now, is the personal growth, the friendships, the life skills that your student's going to get just by being part of the UC San Diego community and part of their housing community. If you had the opportunity to go to college, or if not, you will see that college is a huge transition, not just for your student, but also for the families and supporters of the student as well. And so as your student takes this exciting step, we want to encourage you to keep cheering them on. reminding them that it's okay to ask for help, to try new things, to explore all those dining options that Pam talked about, and to find their people and start creating that home away from home. So lastly, we just want to close with congratulations again to you and your student on this incredible milestone. We want to thank all of our parents and supporters out there for those late nights, those pep talks, the gentle nudges, and all the love and support that you've given them to get them to this moment. And then just that we're honored to be part of their next chapter. So this next slide is going to be our contact slide. Please take a picture of this slide. We're available to help you in human form or via email or over the phone. Again, we try to get to any of our emails within 3 business days. And so again, we just want to thank you for allowing us to be part of your students' journey. Have a wonderful evening, morning, day, wherever you're at today. And we look forward to seeing you all soon. Hi, everyone. Welcome. So thank you so much for tuning in today with us. I'm Malia Mahi, so you heard my voice there on the webinar, and I'm joined here with my wonderful colleague, Pamela Kramer, goes by Pam, to talk a little bit, to do our live Q&A here with some of the questions that we're seeing in the Q&A, as well as questions that we get asked typically around this time of the year. And so, Pam, do you want to start with a question that you know? I feel like one of them that I saw was, are dining plans required?
So yes, that is a common one. So yes, the dining plan is required. It's part of your housing contract. So as an incoming freshman living on campus, you would be required to have a dining plan. We do have some locations on campus that have the option to opt out. Those are generally for upper division students. That would be Pepper Canyon East and West, Matthews, and Rita Atkinson. So if you're in one of those locations, then you would have the option to opt out. You could pick the Triton Community Plan if you were living there, which is great for commuters or graduate students. But if you were living in undergraduate housing with the housing contract, you would have to have a dining plan.
Thanks, Pam.
Mhm.
I see questions about singles, maybe even like specific bed types or lower beds versus being in a higher lofted bed being asked here on the chat. So let me talk a little bit about how rooms, facilities, and roommates might be assigned, as well as how you're going to be assigned a bed. So your student in this process hopefully completed their personal history form. They also provide their gender, and they can provide a room preference as well as any roommate preferences. That was all due by July 20th, so hopefully they got that done. We do use a computer system to assign students to spaces. It's called a IntelliAssign. And so it goes through a few iterations for each of our housing communities. It is based on the room type preferences and what we have available. The roommate requests that were completed, meaning everyone accepted those requests and completed the roommate request process, has to do with the gender of the space, and then again, their personal history form answers that they provided. And so the IntelliAssign will go through and assign them a specific space and facility type, depending on what that community has. Each of our communities are completely different. We have some built in the 80s, I'll say, all the way till something opening this year, which is our Ridgewalk Living and Learning at Marshall. So every facility is completely unique in its own way. That includes, you know, what type of facilities, the mix of residence halls and apartments, the mix of singles, doubles, triples, and even some mini doubles. So because of that uniqueness, we can't guarantee exactly what kind of room space or facility your student might be assigned. So again, I would check in with them to make sure that they got everything done by the deadline. If your student does require a specific bed type, roommate type, anything like they need a single due to a medical need, we highly recommend that they are working now with the Office for Students with Disabilities. That is because assignments are going to start getting done here in the next couple weeks. And so if they have not engaged with the Office for Students with Disabilities, they should start that process as soon as possible. Without a required housing accommodation or dining accommodation, if there's specific foods that they need to stay away from or a special way that they need to eat due to a medical condition, we are not able to accommodate them. And so it's really important that they get that accommodation on file. I did see someone say, you know, could they just work it out with their roommate? I don't recommend that because sometimes that does backfire. The roommates sometimes regret switching beds. So the best way to do it if they require a very specific room type or dining accommodation is to get involved with the Office with Students with Disabilities, and you can find them at osd.ucsd.edu. So I just wanted to make sure, because that's one of our more popular questions that we get, especially around singles. Pam,
I
do you
can
want-
grab
yeah,
another
go ahead.
one. Yeah. Another one that I've seen a few times is what are the pros or cons, or what are the benefits, or should I just get the smallest plan? And if they run out, then add more. That is absolutely an option that you could choose to do. Some of the benefits of choosing the larger plan is if you would be using financial aid towards any of your dining plan, then that you'd be able to cover that in a larger plan would be beneficial then. You can also make payments through with your housing and dining. So you could make quarterly, monthly, or lump sum payments. So you would not be able to do that when adding, but absolutely, if you pick a lower plan and they run out and you want to just keep topping it up and adding, that is absolutely an option that you can choose to do.
Awesome. Thank you. Again, I mentioned in the recording of the webinar too that move-in is right around the corner. And so I know for people who are making a long trek, maybe from another country or another state, you're probably wondering, when are we going to be able to pick those times? And so the portal, the housing portal where your student has done their application and their housing contract, has a portion of it called My Room Assignments. And that is going to open on August 19th all the way through August 27th. Each college or housing community is going to have a specific date and time frame where your student can log in on or after that date to go ahead and review their room assignment, see their roommates, as well as pick a move-in date. Our move-in can be anywhere from Wednesday, September 17th, all the way till September 26th. Each of the housing communities or residential life community areas provides our housing assignments team, who manages the move-in process, a selection of dates and times and quantities of people that they can move in per day. And so it is individualized to each community. So in the webinar, I had said Ravel's date and times are not going to affect Muir's date and times. They're held completely separate because they're two separate college communities. So your student can pick a move-in date from September 17th through the 26th. If anybody's going to be arriving after the 26th, then they do want to reach out to the residential life office directly to let them know that they're going to be a late arrival and to make arrangements to go ahead and complete their move-in. And again, for awareness here, our housing contract does begin on Saturday, September 20th. But again, the move-in dates that people can select from will be anywhere from September 17th, till September 26th. And our first day of classes here is September 25th. We do have a fall move-in website, still waiting for some updates on what colleges are going to go on what day, or what college communities are going to go on what day. But I would recommend parents and students checking that page frequently. You'll also get move-in information directly from your residential life office. They send what we call welcome letters out. So it's really important that your student is checking their ucsd.edu email frequently. I would say 1 to 3 times per day, just because I know housing and dining is not the only entity reaching out to them about things. It's a busy time for you and your student. I understand that, but it's really good to get in the habit of checking that email inbox just to make sure they're not missing any special announcement or, you know, their access date and time that they can log in and pick the move-in date and time that works for your family. I'd also recommend maybe having a plan B. So if the move-in date and time that you're looking for is full or not available, that you have another date and time that would work for you as a parent supporter or for your student. Back to you, Pam.
So I was going to talk a little bit more about the allergen program, because that's usually one of the biggest topics that we are covering. So as we had mentioned, that you would want to register with the Office of Students with Disabilities. Once that's done, if you have an allergy or any other medically necessitated diet, you would then get a meeting with one of our registered dietitians. And then they will work and go over what accommodations you need. They have a special menu that is created. So all of the students that are part of the allergen program, there's a special menu that they would order off of. And it'll have, the menu is created free of all of their allergies. Now, it's also free of all the top 9 allergies, including gluten. So kind of covers everything, but we'll do have some students that'll have something very specific that's not part of the top 9. So the menu is created to make sure that one is covered as well. We have an allergen safe zone at the kitchen, and then the meal is created by a senior cook or above. So your student would call and place their order off the menu of what they would like to get, at what time they're coming in. The meal is created for them, and it is handed off from the chef to your students, and they go over what the menu is. Now, we do also have allergen icons on all of our menu signs and on our mobile ordering app. So if you are somebody who's able to self-monitor and is very good at doing that, that is definitely something you can do, but we cannot guarantee that there would not be cross-contamination on the line. So it is something, if you have a severe allergy, we ask that you make sure you're enrolled in the allergen program and are eating with food from the allergen safe zone just to be safe. So, and if you are self-monitoring, please do still register with OSD so we have your information. What happens is generally the restaurants that your student would be dining at the most will have a folder on your students, and it'll have what their allergens are, what kind of the notes from the meeting with the RD. And so we have that information, and it's just good for our chefs and our management teams to be aware of students that are coming in with allergies, because we want to make sure everybody's safe. So it's kind of an extensive program, but it does very well. And so we want to make sure everybody's safe and eating healthy. Back to you, Malia.
Thanks. I was going to go a little bit more into, I just see a couple questions about what's included in an apartment versus a residence hall. And so again, back to that uniqueness for each of our housing communities. Some of them are a mix of residence halls and apartments. Some are just apartments. So for example, a couple questions about the new Marshall College location, which is Ridge Rock Living and Learning Community. That is all apartments. Same thing for 7th, that is all apartments. And then our transfer housing communities, with the exception of Pangea, are all apartments. So that would be Rita, Pepper Canyon East and Matthews, and Pepper Canyon West. When I say apartment, it's what we think of here traditionally in the United States as like a shared common area. So living rooms, bathrooms, and then it does have a full kitchen with a fridge, stove, and oven. Some of them have microwaves, most don't. So again, you want to make sure that your student is coordinating anything they're going to bring extras, like small appliance wise, with the roommates once they see them. A residence hall typically houses more residents than our apartments do. They also still have a shared common space. Usually that's a living room or a sitting room and a bathroom, but there's no kitchens in those residence halls. And so typically those are located near our wonderful dining facilities, and that's why students can take advantage of their dining plans, because they don't have to worry about cooking. And again, there's so many options between our markets, our dining facilities, and now having a little bit of Triton Cash in those dining plans. Your students should have plenty of flexibility to decide how they want to eat each day with their declining balance situation. And then just talking a little bit about res halls and apartments. I know there's anxiety around, where are you going to be assigned to? What kind of facility are you going to end up in? So for our incoming first year students, assignments typically will begin in a resident hall or apartment for their college of registration, and then can continue on to other on-campus housing communities as needed. This is all based on what we have available as far as spaces. We do anticipate being 100% full. And so I don't know, I haven't been told yet where the overflow, as we call it, will be. But what they do try to do in our assignments team is still keep students within the same college. If you have to be assigned to a different community, they try to still keep them together. And so just know, once those assignments come out, hopefully again, they'll be able to communicate with their roommates and start creating those connections once they see each other's names and contact information. For our incoming transfer students, our assignments begin in our upper division neighborhoods. You can go to our undergrad neighborhood page, and you can see what neighborhoods fall under that. And again, could continue on to other on-campus housing areas as needed. And so assignments for transfers may also include residence halls. We just have recently acquired the Pangea residence halls and apartments, which used to belong to Marshall. And so that is going to be a transfer and upper division housing location this year for people. Pam? More dining.
So I did see one question come in about allowed to buy food on the weekends. So our locations are open over the weekends. We have a pretty wide range of operating hours. Generally, the restaurants open around 7 a.m. During the weekday and open at 10 a.m. on the weekends. And the restaurants can go up to about 11 o'clock at night. The markets go late night. We did have a 24-hour location open last year over at Sixth College. This year it's going to close at 2 a.m. Because we just really not seeing any kind of business coming in after about 2 a.m. So there will be something open late night, early morning. So there's always going to be something open. And we also have not concessions, sorry. I'm blanking on the word, vending machines, different stuff like that. So there's always something around. So back to you, Malia.
Thank you. I was going to look at cost payment schedules, seems to be another question that came up. So we will be posting our payment installment breakdown. So that is going to provide you the overall cost of your dining plan, the overall cost of your space, depending on what kind of facility and space you are assigned to. And then it will break it down by how much it will be for each quarter, or if you choose monthly. Right now, all your student can see on the housing portal, and it has defaulted, is that they can only select a quarterly, what we call installment plan, that breaks up the total academic year costs into quarters. And so we do also highly recommend that as the preferred payment plan because of financial aid. So it is in alignment with when financial aid, grants, and loans are dispersed, and that does help make sure that charges that should be covered by any aid or funds is covered. And then if there's a refund, your student can spend that. But sometimes what happens is students like to spend the refund before everything's paid. So make sure to check in with them when bills are due. You can see that on our Student Financial Solutions page here at UCSD. The other questions that were related to this is how can we change that? So we will be changing to a completely new billing system next year. In anticipation of that, we originally were only going to allow students to select quarterly, as that's how the new billing system is set up for next year. But for this year, we are going to allow students to request monthly or a pay in full option. That is going to be a form that will be available in September on ServiceNow. We use ServiceNow as a way to engage via email. So if you send an email to us, it becomes a ServiceNow case, and it's a good way for us to track what's happening with a student or a situation. So through ServiceNow, your student will be able to request either the option to pay monthly or to pay in full, and we can make that adjustment for them to further break down that installment. If you're looking for those cost and payment schedules, they should be up no later than August 1st, and that's on our housing rate and services page. They're getting a little bit of a makeover, and so we're just making sure that they're accurate before we put them up there for y'all.
Another question I just saw pop up was that where and how can I change the dining plan? So you'll be able to change the dining plan on the housing portal when that opens up for roommate assignments. And you can make changes to your dining plan up until October 1st. So your student will have some time when they first get to campus to kind of see what it's like and check to make sure that they have the plan that'll work best for them. And then they can make a change up to October 1st. After that, you can no longer make changes to the plan.
Okay, I'm going to go into like this miscellaneous section because I'm seeing also some questions about the weekly cleaning service. So again, that's available at all housing communities with the exception of Pepper Canyon West. And so people are asking, what does that entail? So it does entail cleaning all the common areas. If there's a kitchen, it includes the kitchen, it includes the bathrooms, it includes the living room and the floors. They do provide toilet paper and trash bags to the students. One thing you definitely want to talk to your student about, because cleaning can be one of the issues that may raise concerns or cause conflict within the space. So most of the communities are going to have them fill out something like a roommate agreement. It might be called something different at each community, where they hopefully sit down with their RA and talk about their expectations for each other. It's really important to do this. Again, I said in the webinar that I have a third-year student who hates having conversations with people. And I work in housing. I try to help her figure out how to have these conversations with her roommates. She's moving into a house with 7 other girls, so we'll see how that works out this year. Anywho's, but speaking about setting expectations, so it's important for your student to know what their expectations are for their roommates, also for themselves, and hopefully to stick to that roommate agreement. If the cleaning is done weekly, there is a schedule that should be issued to the students so they know when to expect the custodians to come in. And so the only other thing is to help out our custodial team is to clear off any countertops, clear off the sinks, make it as easy as possible for the custodian to do a really good job within your apartment or your residence hall. If you don't, they will not move your items, and sometimes they can't even clean around it. So when you know what your cleaning date is, work together as a team in your res hall or your apartment to help your custodian out. They really do take pride in their work, and they really want you to enjoy that space. So if you can work as a team with them, it'll really pay off for you. God, trust me on that one. And then I saw a couple questions about breaks. So we are open, our residence halls and apartments remain completely open during fall, winter, and spring break. So students are welcome to stay if they're not able to go home. There is no additional charge for that time. The only thing is, I had mentioned in the webinar that your student wants to definitely plan for their dining options during that time. As Pam mentioned, they're one of the largest employers of students, which means during breaks, the students also like to go home and take time off. And so there is a limited of options available. Usually a couple markets and a dining facility are open for adjusted hours. Typically, they're going to be closed on those university holiday days. And so it's very important for your student to plan ahead on what they're going to do for their meals and save some of that Triton cash in their dining plan, because there's over 60 vendors on and off campus that they can engage with to use their Triton cash during that time.
We did get quite a few questions asking about whether you can take cash or credit card at the dining halls or markets. Our locations are cashless, but we do take credit or debit. So that's a good thing to make note of. And also with the difference between Triton cash and dining dollars, like Malia was saying, it is important to save some for breaks. You can use the Triton cash at the dining locations, but you can't use the dining dollars at the Triton cash locations. So it's good to make sure that you have kind of a breakdown of the different locations and where you can use them.
Okay, I'm going to keep going with my miscellaneous theme here. Air conditioning sometimes comes up, so nothing is air conditioned in our units. We are lucky enough to live in San Diego, which, I mean, when you look at the weather across the country here, we're pretty much the same, knock on wood. So we have a very temperate weather pattern here, which does allow pretty much to ventilate spaces and keep them cool with our open windows. However, your student may want to bring a small fan or work with their roommates if they're going to buy a fan for the room or something like that. Again, you don't want 5 fans running in a small bedroom. I see questions about what should I bring. So on our FAQ page, we do have a what to bring section. It is not all encompassing. Again, it's going to be unique to your student. And you also can probably check out your residential life office pages, because they may have some recommendations on those pages as well. Once again, just that tip, make sure that you're coordinating, or your students coordinating with their roommates, so you're not duplicating items. I would recommend, it's much smaller than your student probably thinks it is. So I'll use my student as an example. Hopefully she can't hear me as I'm saying this, but when she was showing me what she was going to bring clothing wise, I was like, no, we had to cut it down to about a quarter of what she thought she needed, just because it's going to be a wardrobe, or sometimes you're sharing a wardrobe with someone else. So I would recommend necessities, and then maybe they can plan once they see what the space looks like, you know, mailing something to them or buying other supplies if that's possible.
We had one asking about once a student locks in, if they make any changes to their dining plan after October 1st, is it locked for a quarter or a year? It is for the whole year, for the academic year. So the dining plan you select is for the entire academic year, and any remaining funds you have at the end of spring quarter would automatically roll over to fall quarter. You can also use it over summer session if they're on campus. And then as long as the student is enrolled in another dining plan, there is no expiration on your rollover. Let's say your student moves off campus their second year and does not want a dining plan, their rollover from their first year would still roll over to fall quarter and be available to them till the end of fall quarter. So, and then it would expire.
I didn't see this asked, so maybe everybody knows this already, but bringing cars to campus. So parking is managed by a different entity, our UC San Diego Transportation Services. They have their own website here at UCSD, but it is highly recommended that campus residents do not bring a car to campus unless they've received a waiver. There is a form that they can fill out on the transportation website for an exception request, which does require documentation and is reviewed by a committee. If you all have already figured this out, that's amazing. Students who are first year or second year can buy a daily D parking permit only, and they're strongly encouraged to use other transit options or to leave their car at home. So also have that conversation with your student. We do offer bike storage here on campus through our Triton Card Account services. So Mikey was here talking about Triton Cash and Triton Cards. It's $20 a month. You can use your Triton Cash for that payment, and there are bike lockers at each location of our communities. There is also a new vendor that we have engaged with called Storage Scholars. They are available on our move in and move out page. They provide a couple services, both for move in and move out. So the move in service, they will ship it to school. You can ship any items that you have at your home in advance to them. If you're looking for a cute comforter, you know, some of the swag that you want to put in the room, you can order additional items online, also ship those to Storage Scholars. And then on your move-in day, they will deliver items to you. You do work directly with them. There is an app that you can engage with to communicate with them. And then at move out, if you're interested, they will provide packing supplies and they will store items for you at a storage facility and then bring them back to you at move-in day. So their services are, again, are on our move-in and move-out page that you can see.
Also, there is a session on Thursday about transportation. So if that is something that you're concerned about, there is a session that you'll be able to watch to get more information on it.
Good one. Thanks, Pam.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
It does look like
Paying
we
attention.
are, yeah, we came in as you were talking, so it's okay. All right.
Should I finish with one thing, room change requests?
Yes.
So once your student does see their room space, if they're looking to say, I think I need a room change, my first thing would be to please try it first. We are 100% full. So room changes are predicated on the assumption that there would be a space to assign you to. There is a room change interest list that typically opens around week 3 of the fall quarter and is going to be managed through your residential life office. So they'll fill out a form and the residential life office will assist them with any changes. But I do want to encourage your students and our supporters here to let them try it out. Again, I talked a little bit about this being a transformative process. Part of that is doing new things and having new experiences. And that could be actually sharing rooms with people. You know, I was an only child, so I didn't have to do that. So it is a new experience to share space with people when you may not be used to that. Also people that maybe you don't know that well. So have them try it out. Have them try to work on those communication skills, and if all else fails, then they can do the room change interest list around week 3. Okay.
You're out of
We're
time.
wrapping up here. I know. Thank you everyone so much for attending today, spending time with our team and Pam and I here. And we wish you all the best. And we will see you soon here for fall quarter. Again, have your student keep eyes on their UCSD.edu email. Sorry, blanked out for a second, to make sure that they're getting their welcome letters and they know what's going on with the move-in process and their assignments. I thought I was going to time that better, but I didn't.